Did now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I'm going to start over with this, and I'm sorry it took me so long to get back on Zoom. It really did not want to let me back on. So this is the monthly meeting of February 8th of the library board. I'm going to recall it to order at 7:36. We have Joan, Elaine, Joy, and myself. So we have a quorum. I think we lost Rebecca in all of this process. And Kathy apparently too. Just keep an eye on the participants. Let's make sure nobody is in the waiting room.
Rebecca wasn't going to be here tonight. She feels sick. She's got a
Okay.
sick kid and she's sick too.
Okay, so our next thing is back to the board of directors. So Hope, you're going to have to post.
Oh, hold on. Kathy's here.
And I apologize. I thought I had to work 3 nights this semester. I thought if I worked the nights we had meetings, I wouldn't have to be sitting in my office doing nothing, because this is just a babysitting job 3 nights a week. And obviously this was a mistake because we just lost an entire half hour.
Sorry about that. I thought you were sending a whole new link. I was waiting for something.
Okay, so do you want me, Karen Ann, to continue with the agenda, what it says? Are we ready to move on past the?
Okay,
approval of minutes?
Yeah, we're tabling the minutes because I haven't had a chance to do them. So it was supposed to be the director.
All right, the next one then is treasurer's report, but Rebecca isn't there, so.
Right.
Rebecca sent it out to everybody
Yeah. so we
Okay.
can do it.
and the ending balance is 147,422.20. But what I can't tell from this is if we are on track. We
No,
have-
that's not true, Joan. You're looking at the December ending balance. She sent 2, and the ending January balance is 131, 135, and 88.
Okay, I didn't see that. All I got was the one.
No, they're
Okay,
both in the
thanks,
email.
Kathy.
There's 2 attachments side by side.
Okay, good, thank you. The electric bill is supposedly doubling pretty soon. So I'm wondering if that next month might be a shocker. Okay, Kathy, I'll try to find the other one of these and put it in my folder. This is what, February. January. December.
Interestingly, electricity is not listed in January at all.
It said, well, it said
2 pay periods.
electric bill.
Oh, okay. So then,
pay
right, the one in March would represent February, March, right? Okay.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, so we got that one in the right folder. Okay. Okay. So it's in February. Okay.
Okay, I can start with the director's report. For our patron engagement last month, we had 1,000 people, which is almost double from last year. So we are really excited about that. We had about 40 people use the computers this year. For book purchases, there is 25 adult books purchased, 17 YA, 13 kids, and 10 nonfiction. Daisy, our representative from Berkshire Bank, came to visit us last week, and she said they have an offer going on right now for a 13-month CD. It has a 4% yield on it, and you have to put down at least $1,000. So we figured it might be something to think about to move maybe some of our money to a CD.
Let me just interject something there. We We did check we did check with other banks and they are offering actually the best percentage at this time. We did ask if it was possible to take the money from the CD that we have now, which won't expire or mature until May 30th, 2024, and, turn it over. You could certainly do that, but there would be a penalty. The
Mhm.
penalty actually would cost us more than what we would be
Yeah.
making on the CD, because right now our CD is only 0.35, where this is 4.00. But that was what it was then. There wasn't anything good going on. And again, we had turned it over a couple of times, and when we started, it was better than 0.35. So if we decide to do something like this, they are at right now the better bank that's offering the most. And we just have to have a minimum of 1,000. It's only for 13 months. But yeah, we'd have to leave the CD that we have now with them as is. Otherwise, it'll cost us money. So it would be, putting other monies that we have into another CD.
Okay.
If
Sorry,
if it's just for 13 months,
right.
I think we should go in with this. Is there any way we would have about $10,000 we could put into it for 13 months?
And is it 4% over the whole 13 months?
I believe we should have money to do that. We don't foresee having to spend that money within the next 13 months. We still have others, so it would be a way to make a little extra.
Okay, so I want to make a motion that we authorize Rebecca and Karen Ann and the directors to invest in this Berkshire Bank 4% for 13 months, up to $10,000.
Okay, where would that $10,000? Oh, I need a second before we can discuss. Do we hear a second?
I feel like I need to discuss it before I second it, so I'm not going to say anything.
But we can't discuss till it's been seconded.
All right, fine.
So you want a second or you want me to?
You go ahead. You second it.
Second it. Okay, now that we have the motion on the table, now we can discuss it.
So exactly where is this 10,000 coming from, or just up to 10,000?
It would have to come out of our fund balance where all of our investments are now anyways.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Do you have any idea what that fund balance is in that account?
Well, it's not only what was left over from our end of year budget over the years, if there was anything, but it is our other investments, which are earmarked, but that's not saying we couldn't temporarily take that money and use it.
Right, I understand that. I was just talking about the reserve fund, the leftovers.
I'm sorry, maybe I'm not understanding the question, Karen Ann.
I know we have all those earmarked accounts, but I'm wondering what is in the account that holds all the reserve fund, the one that holds all the holdover monies.
Yeah, it's got a number of different things that are in it clumped together. Are you asking like what one in particular, whether it be for completing the basement or what we have from Mr. North, which is
No,
for,
no, no, no. I don't want any of those things that are already earmarked. We should have an account where if we have extra money at the end of the year, it goes into an account. Isn't that in a separate account? It's supposed to be.
we don't have any extra money at the end of the year. That,
Okay. So we don't have any money that isn't earmarked.
correct. So it would have to be borrowed, which is what they actually did a long time ago when it came to the CD. That's how they got mixed. That's how things got mixed up. We didn't know what went where because notes weren't made about that. We would be careful this time around to know, what we're doing with it and where we took it from, and we'd better document it, and before it hadn't been. So yeah, it would just come out of it would have to come out of one thing or the other.
How much is still in Mr. North's account? Do you know?
Not off the top of my head.
The
But
last
more
I
than
checked-
10, more than 10,000. 10,000 isn't all that much to be putting on the CD, so
I know.
I think we can do that.
Last I thought Mr. North's account had like 50,000.
I would have guessed that. That was what was in my head when you had asked, but I can't prove that off the top. I can't confirm
The,
that off the top of my head.
if we, let's say, overthink this for a month or something, we're liable to lose that rate.
And it
Okay.
already is, you're right, Joan, and they so much as said that to us. Right
Yeah.
now, it's been secure at 4% for a month. Now, they did say to keep an eye on the Federal Reserve rates because they have been raising the prime rate. And I guess as long as that continues, the banks can offer these kinds of deals, for lack of a better word. But that's not saying it couldn't go down as well. Nothing's all that stable, but it has been this way for a month. It changes, she says, every day it could change.
So if there is enough of money in that Morse account over this much, then I think the reason I said is up to 10,000. I don't think every member of the board has to vote on every little investment. Because this isn't like putting $100,000 into something. There has to be somewhat amount of discretion with the treasurer, the directors who know where the money is, et cetera, and of course, Karen Ann as the chair. So I think I trust them to make the decision. And it may be that they only decide to take 4 or 5. Well, that's fine. That's their discretion.
Okay, Kathy?
So just to clarify then, the motion as you proposed it and as was seconded is to let those people, Joan, you, Karen Ann, the directors, and Rebecca, to decide how much and from what source, and that we give them that to up to 10,000.
Rebecca, Karen Ann, and the directors, not me. I
Oh,
don't have
I'm sorry.
no
Sorry,
reason
okay.
to be in on that.
Okay, so between them, they can decide both the source and the amount, is what you're saying. That was the,
Okay. But
Yeah,
that's not the motion.
I thought she said up to $10,000.
that's what I
She said she didn't specify in the motion who would make the decision.
She did. Yes, she did.
yeah, I said,
She
the
said,
discussion-
I make a motion to authorize Rebecca, Karen Ann, and the directors to invest up to $10,000 with Berkshire Bank. And I just
Okay.
wanted to, so,
Okay. Anybody else have anything to say?
Actually, I'm just curious. I don't have a calculator in front of me. If we're talking investing 10,000, say, for example, at 4%, what are we going to make on that? What does that look like?
Well, it's $4 on 100, so it was $40 on 1,000, so it would be 400.
400. Okay. Thank you.
Elaine had wanted to speak.
Okay. Okay, Elaine. I can't. Okay,
you're not coming to-
hold on 1 second. I've got back feed here. Give me 1 sec. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm getting terrible. echoing on my end. Okay, sorry, Elaine?
I don't think her voice is working well.
Okay, yeah, I know you're talking, Elaine. I can't hear you.
Yeah, none of us can hear for some reason.
No.
No idea.
Do you want to put
Um,
something in the chat, Elaine? You could type something that we could read.
Okay, Hope, can you do me a favor?
Yeah,
Can you get rid of that thing that says Galaxy A10? Because I just got the computer to turn on.
yep.
Throw me out. Thank you. That's why I was getting feedback. The computer finally turned on. Okay, so,
Try again, Elaine, maybe Elaine can hear it now. No,
she said
Elaine,
she can hear everything. We just can't hear her.
I think her computer, what do you call it, isn't working.
Yeah,
The
well, it
sound.
looks like she's got somebody there trying to help her.
Okay,
Not
not
sure why
sure.
my mic doesn't work.
Oh, Elaine's gonna fit in just fine.
Hey,
Too
if
funny.
she's riding through everything that has been going on tonight and she's not freaking out, I think that she'll be great.
Oh, my.
I've actually heard very good things about Elaine from Steph Summers.
Just too funny.
Okay. So, so we have a motion on the table to, put up to $10,000 into this new CD at 4% interest. Any more discussion? Okay, then all in favor, say aye. Aye, aye. Aye, Elaine, since we can't hear you, want to raise your hand if you want to say aye or?
She can put it on the computer.
You just mouthed, I'm going to abstain.
Okay, that's fine. Joy?
Aye.
Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 ayes, 1 abstention. So motion passes. We will get together and discuss this in the next few days when I can get a hold of Rebecca. Okay,
Yeah, and then if you decide it's not a good deal for us, you don't have to do it. Because there's no mandate here that you have to. Okay.
okay. What's next on the agenda? ALA grants?
Correct. I hope you want to continue. I'm going to break in here and talk about.
Yeah, you can break in.
Okay. You doing okay with Ryder?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, my dear. Yeah, the ALA grant that we had spoken about a few months back, Joan has been really wonderful as far as trying to figure out what we can do to actually apply for it, get it. She's come with some wonderful ideas, and I'm sure she'll expand on it. But to no avail as of this time, we do have a couple other ideas that she shared that we still want to work out. But it does end February 28th, which doesn't leave us much time at all. So
Okay, can you
give
be a
up on
little,
it, and has been being worked upon.
can you be a little more descriptive on what this Libraries Transforming Communities grant would do?
Well, they give you money if it's something that you can offer to the community that is above and beyond, obviously, what you already have. And you're supposed to reach different people. Originally, one of the ideas that Joan had was trying to reach not just children, say in school and whatever, but older people in the community as far as who are autistic, for example. It could be another idea was Joanna come up with as far as reaching people that are hearing impaired or sight impaired, things to do like with Braille or whatever. Unfortunately, as she may share, there aren't the statistics out there that were of much help that we could bring before the grant to say that it would be something that would be of benefit or of great value, kind of thing. So
Would,
yeah,
would,
it's kind of thinking outside the box as far as how many people in what ways could you reach your particular community, which would be Wellington, for example, or any of the surrounding.
It has to be an underserved community with disabilities. So, you know, the idea that we had first discussed with doing something for seniors and book transport for seniors, they're not disabled.
that's what I
You
was
know?
wondering. That's why I needed clarification. I was wondering if it would cover that, but if it's only for
Yeah, so we
disabilities,
thought
that does-
about doing autistic and children. I haven't gotten a number from the school yet as to how many children we have that are autistic. We wanted to do it for adults too. There are no statistics in the state of Connecticut on how many adults are autistic. Now realize that every year you have autistic children graduating from high school. And where do they go in the communities? Nobody seems to be keeping track. So the community has a big issue. The overall Connecticut community is what I mean. That has a big issue, but it's not being solved as far as the health department knows and social services, et cetera. I thought that was pretty unusual. I thought everything in the world had been counted by now, but I guess not. So anyways, that's where we're at. Everybody was asked for ideas and I haven't heard any from any of the other board members yet.
Well, I will tell you that if you sent me an email, I missed it.
Well, no, we've discussed it here in the meetings. I don't
Oh,
have.
yeah.
Yeah,
I-
it's been going on for quite some time now.
Yeah. So
Um,
this is since November, I think.
Right, and the one thing that's been stuck in my head is the book van for the seniors, but if that doesn't count, then, but I do remember talking about the fact that maybe we could get some ideas from Hope. I do remember asking her about the school that Ryder goes to and possibly outreaching. It's not just Willington, but do we have to be restricted to Willington?
I think pretty much because it is for small towns with populations of 5,000 to 6,000. The small rural towns too. So
Yeah,
this
it would
is a
have to
very-
stay in our town.
Yeah,
Okay. But if we had a program like that at Willington, even if we did it at the Willington Public Library, we could expand and advertise to other communities though, right?
I could suppose they could come in and take advantage of it if they knew about it. But-
Yeah,
Because-
we could either bring them in or we could go to them inside of our community. So yeah,
Okay. Then I think probably we need to get our act together then if we've only got 3 weeks.
Okay, the bottom line is, what are you talking about doing?
I don't know. Honest truth, I don't know
Both.
anything about autism. I don't know what children or adults with autism need. It's
We had
beyond
thought
my
about
scope of
putting in,
understanding.
if we can get the numbers from the town, it would be okay. The other issue is that you have to interview the participants, which means interviewing the families might be, all right, they might be receptive to it. Of course, we cannot have children's names without the parent consent. And that some of the children who are, very verbal, et cetera, they would be able to discuss with us. We thought about putting in a quiet corner in the library, if we can find a spot in the children's library, which doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be overwhelming, but having things that kids can crawl into, you know, little tents, and they like the swing chairs that are kind of enveloping. That seems to be things. Having comfort animals, stuffed comfort animals that they can have, and they can sign out the way you would sign out a library book. And that could also be available to any adults who need comfort animals of that kind. Those mechanical cats that purr on your lap and things like that. Those are the kinds of things that we can do. But we have to know how many autistic children we have. This is not, it hasn't been easy to find statistics. And on adults, as I said, there are none in the state. The state could help me out with that. So, but it's kind of involved. And we need somebody that's willing to step up to the plate and be willing to write some things too, you know. So that's where we're at.
Okay, well, it sounds like it's a plan where, you know, we could get together and not all of us, but some of us get together and put a list together of the kinds of things that we would want, see if we could mark out a space in the children's library section to do this. I don't know, that library section is kind of filled with books. I don't know if there's a lot of
Yeah,
space.
it is. Yeah, because it wouldn't, this is something that kids would probably using solitary. It doesn't have to be big. So that's one of the advantages. Let's put it that way. If there is any advantage to this, we can look at it. Are board members receptive to help with the writing if we get to that point?
Kathy, if we write, will you at least edit? You're the English teacher.
Yeah, so I can proofread and edit.
Okay, thank you. So Joan and I, or Joan, can you and I get together and work on this? If Elaine's interested, she can just email us and let us know and try and put something together and figure something out and then send it to Kathy for proofreading.
Yeah, it has to be done right,
Yeah.
you know, and this is an issue.
Ask,
I am- it
okay,
says ask
it's
special ed
backwards, Elaine.
teachers.
It's backwards.
I can
Ask,
read it as special ed teachers. I
Oh.
was just about to say that. I feel like the wrong direction to go is to count numbers. I have a feeling that those are not numbers that you are going to get access to due to FERPA and other data privacy acts. I think it's almost
wait.
irrelevant. I would rather consult experts. I would rather ask people what their experience has been, and I think special ed teachers is a good
Well, we
direction
have to have the numbers in the town.
to
and
justify
they
the
have,
data. Oh,
and that's public because you know, but the names of the kids is not.
well, of course.
Okay.
I don't know.
And
I
the
just have a
names of
bad
the
feeling about that direction. I'll just be honest. And
Yeah,
I think we know enough to assume we can imagine what an adaptation for somebody on the spectrum with a spectrum difference. I have a bad feeling about it. I think
the number is I don't have an issue with. But how do you contact? Because you have to interview them as part of the grant.
oh boy.
So yeah, that's the part that's really sticking me, Kathy. I understand.
Are we wedded to serving people with autism, or could it be vision impaired or something else that I think there actually would be easier collection?
It,
Not that we
not
shouldn't
wedded
serve
to
all members of
anything.
the community, but I just don't have a good feeling about this.
I don't have a way of knowing. See, we have to be able to show that there is a need in the community.
Right, I get that.
So,
So
that's why,
but if we're gonna have to interview every participant before the grant goes
no,
in.
that's not what it said. You have to get
Okay.
together with a group and you have to, okay. Okay,
good. That's what I thought at first, but then I was getting a different vibe out of that. Okay,
But yes, I think it's imperative that you consult with people who can give professional advice and not just
Yes.
discuss their own.
I think you're right. I think you're right. We need them. But part of the grant is to interview the people that would be using. So some of the parents, some parents don't want to do it. That's fine. Some will. And that doesn't say that you would have to interview every single person either.
And don't forget that our town also serves, is served by E.O. Smith as well as Wyndham Tech. That some of our children go elsewhere when they get to high
Yeah.
school.
Yeah, but they would be able to, hopefully the school department would be able to say we service 17 children with autism. That's what we really have to know. We don't have to know where they are or at individual ages, I don't think. We'll have to see. But
Gotcha.
if you have anybody with disability, if this is a disability grant, you're going to have to,
I get the justification. I get it.
Yeah. I know it doesn't
feel
set
you
right.
hit a dead end before you even start if you're wedded to a certain direction.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we'll just keep on plugging on this and see what happens. I guess this week we can do it. Life is crazy.
well, I can say that CIP ended today. Our budget meetings have ended. My life is much better after 9 o'clock tonight. So if you did want to talk about it, Joan, just let me know.
Yeah, we will have to talk about it, but we may do a lot of by phone. I don't know. Okay.
Okay, are we done with this discussion? Anybody
Yes.
else? Okay, then let's move on to what happened with the elevator.
Well, the elevator is fine. We had the state of Connecticut elevator inspector come out. They do come out yearly. Now, they hadn't been out because of COVID until 2019. But at that time, we were in violation. And what that was the door that goes into the elevator mechanics room where all their equipment, whatever is supposed to have a closure unit on it at the top so that it shuts and it shuts automatically. It's like a safety feature. It's gone. We had one and it's missing.
Okay.
So
Well, let's get that taken care of.
we will. And we also realized that we have the same problem with one missing in our custodian closet, which again has partial, some of it there, it's, I don't know how to say partial. Some is there, most is missing. So we need to have that done as well. So we do need to get 2 of those arms.
Are there any other doors that need a self-closing?
No, we checked it all out. Everybody else has it where they're supposed to be. For some
Okay.
reason, these 2 are missing. Just to let you know that in checking, it could cost us up to as much as $400 a piece. We need 2.
Yeah, that's okay. They're
We have
mandatory.
to have it done because, yeah, it's been too long. It should have been taken care of a long time ago, but it never was. So that's what's
Well,
going on with that.
I was trying to figure out why we've been in violation since 2019 and nothing was done, but I guess they hadn't come out due to COVID, so that
Oh,
explains
no,
it.
people just not doing their job. The director at the time knew about it. His name was, it was signed. He had his name and whatever, but it never got taken care of. No one knew about it.
Right, but after
after
he left, the elevator people hadn't been back out. because
The
of COVID.
not she, with the last director that we had, they had been out, correct, 2019.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so I suggest do it.
Oh, we have no choice, just to give you the
Yeah.
heads up that it won't be cheap.
What
That's
budget
fine.
does that come from? Is that for a building and maintenance line item?
Yes,
Okay.
And the next item on the director's report is just the senior center. We've been doing a book club. Again, thank you, Joan, who had spearheaded that and has been taking care of it, giving us what books to order and have on hand. And the seniors seem to be enjoying it. We just had a question as far as, and maybe Joan, you might know this. What is going on as far as us transporting, or I should say the senior center transporting the seniors to the library for movies again? I know that was something that was gonna perhaps start up in February, now that February is around. Is it a go? Has anything happened with that?
I don't know, actually, because I just go over there for the book thing, and they did have a board meeting today, but I didn't want to interrupt it. I can ask, they were showing their own movies there, and it was kind of pointed, you know, because we had invited them, and I think they kind of ignored the invitation there. Now, if their movies aren't working out, and I'm looking now to see if I can find the schedule for this month. If they're not showing the meetings, I'll bring the movies, I'll bring it up again. But at that point where I saw they were doing it like every Monday or something, they were having a movie, then they wouldn't want to come here. You know what I mean?
So it's changed, because I know we were having the special noir movies on Friday mornings, or rather early Friday afternoons, like at noontime, and they were interested when I had talked to Jenny Arpin about it, but the problem was that they didn't have a way of getting people to the library to attend it. And then they did have somebody, and I thought that was going to be happening, but it hasn't. So I can actually, if you don't know, Joan, I can ask Jenny.
Well, Jenny is not in charge.
Oh, she
Okay.
didn't know that?
So it's Nan who is in
Oh,
charge.
okay.
Okay, and so that would be the number one thing. Number two, if we're going to be wedded to the idea of Fridays, it probably won't work, because they do have a bigger problem with a driver on Fridays. Pat couldn't do it, etc. So as I've said before, if we're willing to do it another day in the week, it's got a better shot.
Okay.
Okay, so that's all I can tell you. When I find this table loaded with papers right now, if I find that blue paper that's their schedule, I'll look it up right in about 2 minutes. Okay.
I get
Okay.
that letter too, so I can look it up.
Yeah,
All
I've
right.
got it right. I've got it here someplace. Oh, I see it.
No problem. I can find it.
Right under the grandchildren's calendar I got for Christmas. So, okay. Okay, I don't see any movies on here. So anyways, okay, we'll get back and we'll do something. Just remind me.
Okay.
Next week we,
Good.
yeah,
Okay, just on a positive note, we've been working not only with the Human Resources Department, but also with the Parks and Rec Department. They did their winter camp. They had such a good time. It worked out really well for everybody that they asked if they could do their spring camp at the library, and we said yes. They also asked if they could do yoga classes on Wednesday evenings after we're closed. So now they're using the community room. So it's just been really nice, everybody working together. I just wanted to comment on that. Okay,
Well,
and then the next was Saturday.
I was going to say that's a good up note. Now let's hear all the terrible things that happened over the weekend.
Well, I gotta tell you, it was a bit of a nightmare on Saturday. Everything that possibly could have gone wrong went wrong at the library, but it was a wonderful day. We had so many people there of all ages. We were, unbeknownst to us, and we were the emergency shelter for keeping warm. And unfortunately, when we walked in the morning, it was freezing. We had lost our heat. It was 41 degrees in the back of the building where our office area is, and it was 53 out front and in the children's area. Downstairs was 60, amazingly, that's usually the colder area downstairs where the community room is and the conference room. But we were told that probably was warmer down there because underground it actually retained the heat. So we didn't have any heat. We didn't have any phones. We had, for some reason, our thermostat out front, which takes care of the staff, the circulation desk and the top floor out front, somehow got broken. It was dead. Oh gosh, what else was there? Oh, and we had a flood in the unfinished part of the basement. We had pipes that had frozen and broke. And so water was leaking all over the place. And of course it was Saturday, but we did get a hold of the HVAC people and they came out, and also the plumber came out. They're really very gracious and good and kind. They, because of our situation, our fear was that everything was going to be so much more expensive, but because we had shared that we were supposed to be a warm place to come to, they gave us a deal. I just received the bill this morning from the plumber, for example, and he did not charge us additional service charge being a Saturday. And the HVAC people did the same thing for us, where they are not going to charge us the extra cost that normally they would charge somebody, being was a special call and on the weekend. They even went so far, they gave us 4 heaters, which we put in different places strategically to keep it warm. And normally it would cost us to use them, for them to give it to us, and they were not charging us. So I guess what I want to say is, expensive as unexpectedly and as expensive as this is going to be, we did get a good deal and wonderful pricing and a lot of help. What we ended up doing is we turned on, which some of the baseboards hadn't ever been turned on since the beginning of time. We had to do the electrical baseboards, and it did help. So we'll probably get a little bit more of an electricity bill higher next month. We did use more propane. We put on the fireplace. We had people in the reading room to keep them warm, so we had the fireplace on and all the baseboards. Unfortunately, when we put the baseboards on, the baseboards in the children's room, they don't work. So we don't know what that's about. We'll have to look into that just for future reference. They're somehow broken, they're not working. We'll have to figure out what went wrong and fix it, kind of things. But all the other ones were working. The plumber took care of the piping. They put in, they heated it up, they put in antifreeze. And so far everything's been fine. Both companies came out on Monday because we'd asked them to, if there was anything more that needed to be done that wasn't, that could wait. We asked if it could be done on Monday instead, just to kind of help with the cost of things. And that's exactly what they did. They did what was most important to get the heat up and running. I was in on Sunday. It had gone up to 60. And by the time Monday came around, it was 67, 68. So it did take, they did say it was going to take a while for it to come up. The patrons were awesome. Everybody was dressed in coats, hat, mittens, and scarves. Many people offered to help us in any way that they could. So it was a wonderful time. It was really difficult. It was very hectic. Everything and anything that could have gone wrong, unfortunately, was going wrong. But people were really of good spirits and working together. And it really was a lovely day in that respect. So, and it is all about the people in my eyes. So it was good. It was a nice day in that respect. So that's what went on.
And we had a get together that afternoon, and
Yeah, the gems came in.
yeah, we didn't have any problems in the community room that evening. So Deb handled everything and everything was good.
Yeah, it was good. We had, I hadn't seen that many, unfortunately, I don't get out front all that often, but I hadn't seen that many people of all different ages and together in a long time. it was Take Your Child to the Library Day. People were there because we were a warming center. People were there because they brought their children. It was a game day. People were playing board games and games all over the place. For our story and craft time, our theme was Valentine's. So all day long, people of all ages are making Valentine cards. It was really good. It was really good.
Okay, now can you tell us what's wrong with the phones?
Well, the issue is we've had, little by little, we've been losing our phones. Once upon a time, we had as many as 9. Every desk had one. And when we lose one, it would break down, we just would replace it from another area. For example, there used to be a phone in the staff kitchen area. Well, that one went to one of the people in the back desk for them. Different ones we have lost. What this is disturbing is that the only one that was out front, or one of the ones that was out front, it just died. And we can't get into it to cancel out the message or change anything. It's odd in that the phone itself is dead, but people can still call and leave messages, but we can't retrieve the message. And there is no other phone that we can get to do that with. We still have remaining other ones, but it's different enough that they won't work in the same way. And we've tried our old technician who actually set up the phones. He's tried so many different things, and we've tried so many different things over the weeks, and nothing's working. So we're shy yet another phone, and not one to replace it. There's things like passwords and whatever that we thought maybe we could use to get into it. Hope has been working on it, and it needs a password, but we don't know what the password could be that she came across. It's just we don't have a phone that you can leave messages on that works. And so
Do you have access to changing the message on that phone?
No, that's what,
So you
no,
can't even do that.
no.
Okay, then if that's the case, I think Town Hall had the same problem.
Oh.
So,
And
Yeah,
ours
we
is
can't
15
get
years
past
old.
that password. Someone went in and changed the default, and that's holding us back. And when they were set up, they never connected it to like the online server, because that would be the other way you can do it. So we're really just at a standstill right now.
okay, if you can't get into it, Town Hall did the same, check with Erica, okay? So, talk to the people at the Town Hall, see if they managed to fix it. And if they did, if there's anything you guys can do. Otherwise, we can't have people calling in and leaving messages and then not getting responses. So something's gonna have to be done. So if the Town Hall had the exact same problem, then I suggest talk to the Town Hall and see how they managed it and go from there.
They actually got a whole new phone system is how they managed it.
Okay, well, then you need to look at what it would take to get a whole new phone system, I guess.
Great. Okay.
Okay.
Seriously, you can't have people calling into the library and thinking they're leaving messages.
Oh, understandable. That's
You
what
know?
we've been dealing with.
Yeah, so let's take a look at how much that would cost and what would be involved in doing that.
Got it.
Okay,
And then all the forms for the IRS, Rebecca signed. We got the e-file for the signature authorization set up now. So it's in the accountant's hands. So he should be finishing up filing and taking care of that. So we did what we needed to do. Now it's in, it's
Okay.
up to him.
so that's one thing off the checklist.
Yes, finally. And then we just the 100-year anniversary. We were able to secure with the Parks and Rec Department in June, Saturday, the 24th, for what we were hoping to have as a family type picnic. Also, that would be, we would like to make that our kickoff for our summer reading program.
That's a good plan, yes.
Do 2 things at once. And just a lot of great ideas that we have plenty of time on, but wanted to let you know that we did get that. And Joan-
Athletic field means River Road, is that right?
Yeah.
River Road.
Okay, and we do have the firehouse for the 22nd of April for our dinner dance.
Mhm.
So we've got venues if nothing else.
We're gonna make it happen.
But, oh, yeah, it's going. We're working on it, yes. I have somebody who I think will take over, sort of supervising the food end of it. We've got a couple people that are thinking about doing the decorations. So that part is done. I'm personally excited because Kathy's band is going to play, and I just think that's the coolest thing. And when I've said it to people in town that the band was going to play, some people have heard you, Kathy, and they
Right.
say your band is good.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad to.
Yeah. Very complimentary, yes.
Good.
So
Thank you.
I said, that's good. So yeah, we've talked it up. The next thing right about now, it's getting to be time to do a save the date for people.
Mhm.
And you don't want to do it too early because they'll forget about it. You know what I mean? They'll just kind of like get used to it. But it's time to start doing a save the date. And I think it was Mike McCoo who said, yeah, let's do that. He's totally on board with the idea.
Roughly what time do you imagine it would start?
I don't know. What do you think? Probably 6 for dinner, etc. Do you think, or is that too early for people with kids?
It's a Saturday, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, and then music starting right away, or music starting at 7, or
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
think
think-
we'd want to delay the music a little bit. I don't think we'd want it right away, would we?
okay. When you know, please let me know, like how many
Oh, yeah.
sets, or how many hours of, and I think you'd wanted to talk at some point about what music would be appropriate. I mean, we're not going to learn a bunch of new stuff, but I can tell you what we play, and you can be like, that sounds good, maybe not that, or whatever.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that pretty soon too, so that you guys have your heads up. Yeah. So, okay. So anyways, it's a go so far.
So we're doing okay with our 100-year anniversary. Anything else on the director's report, guys?
Well, not that's listed, but we had forgotten to mention, now, who would do this? We need to get the notebook binder from Elena so that we can hand it over to Elaine. But I'd like to look at it first to make sure that everything is in order before giving it to her. Is that something that the chair or co-chair should do on the board? Or
Yeah.
do you want Hope or I to do
I
that?
pulled my phone out before I forget. I'll text Elena right now.
Yeah, and ask her if she couldn't drop it off at the library.
Okay,
And we'll just go through it before we pass it on.
okay,
Make sure things in order.
no problem. I will
Thank you.
I will text her right now.
Thank you. And that's pretty much, Hope, what else is on your mind? Can you think of?
That's it. It's good on my end.
All right, then we're good.
Okay, so
Yeah.
updates. ARPA has approved about $13,000 to fix the retaining wall on the deck from the children's library. But we do need 3 quotes, and that's going to be a pain in the butt to try and find 3 people that will give us quotes, since we had trouble getting just the 1 quote. They've got it on the schedule. Did you have your hand up, Joan?
Yeah, I'm going to go out tomorrow. I talked to Deb and Hope that today. I'm going to go out to Angie's List. We just went out there for a problem at the house here, and we got inundated with people. So we're going to hope that it really at least get 2 more that will come out and look at it and give us some estimates, for a dinky bathroom problem. They're right there, but I don't know about this. But my gut feeling is I went out and looked at, we're not going to be able to get it done for 13,000, I don't think. I'm
What were you-
hoping I'm wrong.
What were you looking at?
I'm looking at the fact that they're going to have to lift those cap rocks and do all kinds of things maybe. So if the new estimates come in as more, then we'll discuss that then. But I don't want anybody to go into shell shock if it does. We went into shell shock with what they were going to cost us for that minor really not a very big repair in the bathroom here. I'm just double what we thought it would be. And so I'm like, maybe we really need to get another person in and look at it. But I'll put it on Angie's list, and we'll have people come out, and hopefully we at least get the other two, and we're going to hope that they all come in the same amount
Okay,
and get that done. Now,
okay, so it's basically just that retaining wall, the one that's like 3 stories high to the
Yeah.
children.
Yeah.
They are still pending on the gutters, but they're pending on the gutters and don't want to put it on CIP because ARPA is still pending on the gutters. I'm thinking maybe that's a good thing. It means that they're leaning towards giving us the money for the gutters so that we won't have to deal with that if they're not going to put it on CIP. So I have my fingers crossed that that's what that means. But we haven't heard. Yeah. CIP has agreed to give us money to have a complete facilities walkthrough. They're looking to hire somebody specifically to look at the municipal buildings, including the library, and come through and look at everything because they're worried we might have missed something. You know, we've got a list of things that we thought we needed. So that is approved for the next fiscal year to have that done. The CIP then has for the next 4 years, for year 2, $80,000 to do the entire building's exterior, finish all the caulking, put mortar back in, patch the stucco on the foundations. That would be year 2. Year 3 is to replace the floors downstairs. Year 4 is exterior painting, and year 5 is interior painting. So it's on the CIP list right now. But then again, Schofield Road has been on the CIP list for 20 years, you know, so that's something we have to, but I did have a talk with the CIP committee, and they do understand that the library is at that age where it's starting to need things being done. And if we don't do them now, the library is going to end up in the same condition as Center School and some of these other places with hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of repairs that need to be done. So
Can
they
you,
did.
I'm sorry, can you either somebody in the minutes or maybe right now, just go back through and just really quickly, year by year, you said what they tabled everything for a specific year.
Yeah, hold on. I think I may have left it in the car. I was at the CIP meeting and I had the,
Well, you rattled it off pretty fluently just now.
well, I was going to look at the numbers. Okay, so for year 1, we had the retaining wall and the gutters. The retaining wall has been approved by ARPA. The gutters are still pending with ARPA, so CIP has them on the list as possible ARPA funds. They are going to, for year 1, pay for somebody to come out and do a facility study.
Who is CIP or ARPA is going to pay?
CIP.
CIP will pay.
so we're going to have the facilities review on year 1.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I
And
have a couple
so-
questions about that facility.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go
Deb.
ahead.
Okay, so how is that different than when we had the contractor consultant come out? And who's going to pay for it? Is that something that the town is? Are they doing other buildings or?
Yeah, CIP is paying for it, Deb. It's nothing we have to do.
Okay,
You guys have heard at plenty of meetings, do you really need gutters or do you just have a gutter salesman out there? This facility study will be done by a totally independent, we want to sell you something person.
how much that's going to cost the town?
$10,000.
Wow.
And it's just the library, or is that just the libraries?
No, it's $10,000 for the library, $10,000 for Center School, $10,000 for the town offices,
Per building?
$10,000 for Public Works building.
Okay,
Yeah, no, $10,000 just for the library.
Okay, but we don't pay for it. That doesn't
Nope.
come out of our budget.
It's
Okay,
coming out of CIP.
Okay,
Okay, so the town's going to hire somebody to do a facility study on everything they can find in town for buildings that needs to be done, and the library will be included in that. Okay.
thank you.
Then for
You-
year
And then
two,
you said the gutters is pending.
yes,
So if ARPA doesn't approve it, would CIP take that over, or does that get booted to the second year of CIP, or how does that work?
it would have to get booted to the second year of CIP because year one is done for CIP.
I see, okay.
We voted on year one, what's today, Wednesday, last Friday. So year one is done and approved and actually came in at only $73 over budget.
The only thing with my concern is that means that for the gutters with the whole problem of the ice forming and whatnot,
It's
Would
one
not-
more year.
oh, that's gonna be dangerous.
I know, but unless we want to just, if ARPA doesn't cover it, unless we want to pull it out of the stiff account and just have it done, it's waiting another year. But if ARPA doesn't approve it, we can certainly consider just taking it out of the stiff account.
Yeah, because yeah, we might want to give that thought, because that's kind of a priority.
Okay, well, let's see what
Okay.
ARPA says, and if need be, we'll just get it done.
And how soon will that result be in? ARPA's declaration of doing it or not?
Good question. They don't have a
I was
date.
gonna ask that too.
They don't have a date. They're waiting to see about some other projects that have been worked on, if they're going to get any money back on those, to see what their actual remaining funds are.
Okay,
Currently, I think they said they had $117,000 worth of requests and only about $85,000 left. So they were waiting to see. Joan, question?
Well, if it's a first come, it's supposed to be first come, first serve. So hopefully our name will come up, because that's what they had said at the beginning. So we
Well,
are, you
The
know,
gutters went in as the very, very first request of the second opening of the ARPA. So if it's first come, first served, we were the first ones on the list.
but it was still like number 38 altogether or something, I guess.
but
is what
no.
they numbered it. Yeah,
Their first opening was 1 through 39. They have dealt with those. That's what's paying for the retaining wall. They have dealt with all of those. They've either accepted them, rejected them, done something. But
right, so
the-
continuing year 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, okay. So year two is to do the entire exterior of the building. I put in $80,000 for that.
Okay. hold
Okay.
on.
what do you
That-
mean do the entire, is that all patching everything?
Patching everything, patching the mortar, patching the stucco exterior,
So that's the envelope we were speaking about, we call.
the envelope, yes, it would be the envelope, and that would include, no, it doesn't, never mind.
It doesn't
Okay,
include the
we-
gutters. Gutters is separate, right?
I was thinking it included the back door, but I don't think it does.
Okay,
but-
so 2 is the envelope.
Right,
Okay.
okay, then 3 is the downstairs floors,
Okay,
and I think that request was about $50,000, maybe a little less than that. Like I said, I wish I had brought this stuff in with me, but
Karen, you'll be so kind as, since you're on the CIP and stuff in the library, at some point, can you get that all organized in writing and pass it on?
yeah, we just had our last meeting today. So I
Okay.
have a spreadsheet, which, like I said, I was hoping I could find, but apparently I left it in the car.
No problem.
Because-
We could have that at some point.
It had been in my pocketbook, but it was kind of like hanging out of my pocketbook, so, but yes, as soon as, hold on. Yeah, it's definitely not in my pocketbook. As soon as I get a chance, because like I said, we just finalized this. Actually, it wasn't even final. I had to leave the meeting early, but finalization on years 2 through 5 was at the meeting at 5 o'clock today. So I will get that to you once I know what the final, I have to finish
Okay.
watching the recording to see what happened at the end of the meeting.
okay.
What about year 4?
Year 4 is exterior painting. And that was, if I had to hazard a guess, I think it was like $70,000. And then year 5 is interior painting, which was also about the same price. And when they questioned about the exterior painting, as expensive as it was, since it's not full paint job, it's just basically around the windows. I had to explain to them that we are 3 stories off the ground in the back. If they want to figure out how to do the trim on the windows around the offices in the back for less money, let me know, because otherwise it's going to have to include scaffolding and all of that stuff to get it, everything. So it's a lot more expensive than you might think, because they did question that amount.
That's why exactly it is more expensive.
Yeah, because you've got 3 stories up there and it's on a huge slant on the bottom. So they have to figure out a way to get up there and paint it.
All right.
And year 5, the interior painting, I do believe the quote from the painter was 67,000, but that was a subcontractor with Mount Ford, so they had their own on top of that. So again, probably in the neighborhood of about 75,000. So like I said, I will get you those numbers. As soon as I can watch the rest of that meeting, I will have a complete idea of what has been set for the next 5 years. And I will get you all of those.
Okay.
Okay, budget I presented to BOF last week, and now we're just trying to answer some questions they had. And Deb sent out a sheet today about, what was it called? Unspent money or something.
That's something Hope and I worked on together.
Yeah. And so that's something I have to present to Board of Finance. And that was their big question. According to our budget, we had 225,000 last year and we only spent 200,000. They wanted to know what happened to that 25,000. And so you can see there's a whole list of things, Otis Elevator, et cetera. You've got Action Air on there, which didn't get through ARPA. So that's an invoice that we had that needs to get done that should have been covered in that. So I think we'll be okay. They just had a question as to why there was such a huge amount shown left over. And it was just because there were some things that were not on there.
Yeah, things that we needed to have done were talked about, got pricing on, even invoices, but we were holding off, like you say, for one reason or the other. Hopes that we could have had ARPA money. Then when it came closer, like even just putting up the light pole in the parking lot, when the company was ready, we weren't, and vice versa. So that wasn't able to get done during that time frame that would have been ideal.
Yeah. So that's what they requested, was what were the funds that appeared to be unused. Were they actually unused or were they used? And then they asked about projected revenues, and Deb told me that the library's never filled those in. The town has always filled those in. So I don't know what to do about that.
Well, the weird thing is that how would you, we've never done it and we don't even know how anyone could possibly do something like that. Those are things above and beyond that you can't count on. They're like patron donations, those are gifts. When it comes to patron fees, you don't know how many people are going to be having late fees or books that are lost or damaged that need to get replaced, or how many faxes are going to go out, or how many, I mean, there are things that there's no way you could even guesstimate.
Yeah, I understand that. And when I talk to the BOF people again, I will question them about that.
Yeah, like
Okay.
even the building use fees, like that's revenue, but how do you know how often it's going to be used? And
Yeah. But those were the only 2 things they talked about. It actually worked out very nicely. I had no idea who was the new chair of the BOF since Mike has moved on. And Mike was always a good friend. Well, at least the last 2 years I presented the budget, Mike had been a good friend.
Isn't Stephanie the new chair?
Steph is the new chair, and she was very nice, very polite, asked questions. It was not contentious at all. It was very nice. that made me feel good considering the fact that they grilled the Parks and Rec guy for 45 minutes. I was worried after they did that I was going to get grilled just as much, and no, I didn't. So it was very nice.
Can I ask a question? Now, Christina Malhouse was going to be writing up something for us. Do you know when we'll be seeing that? What that was
Now,
all about?
I talked to her about it on Friday at the CIP meeting, and she was working on it.
What exactly was that about, Karen?
She was trying to clarify some of all she had done at the time that I was there was clarification of the payroll as to who was getting paid and how much they were getting paid and how many hours a week, that totaled up to that number that we had in the little slot.
Okay.
Because they didn't see that sheet that we had gone over before we put it into the Excel sheet.
True.
So she was trying to backtrack on that to see exactly what that is. And then she was going to look at some of the other things. And she was just going to send us a new, have you ever seen one of Christine spreadsheets? I don't know what she does for a living, but this woman is like a spreadsheet goddess.
She has the information she needs to create something like that. We don't
But
need.
it's not just that. I mean, her spreadsheets are color coded and they're just amazing. I'm lucky I can get an Excel sheet up. Very nice, Joan. Very nice.
I've never seen this before, so I'm having a good time there.
So I'm waiting to hear from Christina about that. And really, it's just a matter of clarifying some of the things that are on our budget. That's all it is.
Well, I was happy and pleased to say that they had us going over things, but that they didn't right away. It's been over the last couple of years where they immediately will say, well, you ask for a certain percentage and they cut you down, like just pick out a number. And
they did not do that to us.
No, they
simply
didn't.
wanted more clarification on the numbers.
And I'm very thankful. I thought that was well done and appreciated. And I know still that could happen, whatever, but I was glad that they were fair in that respect and gave us time and to see what everybody else is doing too before something like that was.
Yeah, and we did present on the very first night. So there's another one tomorrow and there's 2 more after that. So we won't know for a few weeks, but in the meantime, I'll get this clarification back to Christine as soon as she sends me that sheet.
Christina.
Okay, anything else we need to talk about? Christina, you're right. Okay, there's Christine and Christina. One is head of CIP and on BOF, the other one is our registrar. And
Yeah, Christina Milos, yeah.
And so it's Christine at the registrar's office.
Correct.
I have trouble remembering which one is Christina and which one's Christine. But then again, with the month of January I've had, I'm lucky I know my own name. Never mind anybody else's. This has been a crazy January. And for anybody, Deb told me the other day that I looked bad.
Hey.
No, you told me I looked tired, Deb.
You did. Thank you.
Most of you guys remember, it will be a year this Tuesday since my fall and my concussion, and my dizzy spells have come back. So I'm not sleeping well at night. And so, yes, I am exhausted and January was tough. So,
Okay, so
I appreciate all the help I had on everything. Yes, Joan.
I'm just being cranky. I'm looking at it, it's 8:49.
Yeah, this video is gonna cut out at 9, so I don't want to cut out in the middle of somebody saying
Okay.
something.
Yeah, no,
I'm
we're just
elderly,
about
I'm falling asleep. So.
okay, if the board doesn't have anything else to say, the next one is present to speak. If Mary Pat has anything she wants to add. Nick never did get back in after we did it. Yes, Mary Pat.
Hi everyone. I am just wanted to talk about, I'm really glad to hear about the facilities person coming by to take a look at the building. I think that's a great thing to just get an overall assessment and help you, because that's a huge job that I'm sure no one is training for. So that's great. The one other thing I wanted to address, and you kind of addressed it in the beginning of the meeting, but the minutes haven't been posted. There's been 4 meetings.
Yes,
And yeah, so it's an FOI. There's the FOI regulation is that they need to be posted within a week.
They have,
So
they have been, except for last month.
there's been 4 meetings, all of January, and nothing's been
Okay,
posted.
It was January is the only month that they weren't posted.
Right,
Then-
and your budget meetings, because I mean, my situation right now is that it's budget time, and I was just really interested in hearing the budget discussions. And there's nothing,
Mhm.
like those meetings need minutes too. And I know Karen, and you've been really busy. There's 6 people on the board, so I would hope that someone could pick up some of the slack and get those. And then the last 2 meetings for YouTube haven't been posted either.
no, I saw that and I
Yeah.
don't know why, because I took them to Kelsey and I handed them to her and I said, there are meetings for the 23rd and the 25th.
I don't know how it works with other boards, because like typically they just get posted the next day.
I take a flash drive to
Yeah.
Kelsey, Kelsey takes them, and I don't know, I know for a fact I handed them to her. I don't know where they are.
Yeah.
So-
Well, maybe someone could follow up with her and just see.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have to take her the flash drive from this meeting and I will just double check.
Okay. Yeah, that would be great. I've just been wondering about that. I know there's nothing like underhanded or anything, but just been curious about what
Yeah,
know what the discussions, especially about finances, have been.
and like I said, I don't know what happened to the videos. I will check on that and we will catch up on the minutes, and I'm sorry, the minutes haven't gotten done.
I know I struggled with that when I was a chair. It's hard. But yeah. So yeah, maybe I know you've got a lot on your plate, but still needs to get done. So like someone needs to pick it up and do it then.
Well,
Yeah.
this is my calendar for February. After next Tuesday, there's nothing on the calendar.
Right. But like, it could be someone else. It could be someone else doing it too, I guess.
Well, the problem is, we had elections and Joan had been our secretary, but it was getting too much for her. So Joy said that she would go back to it, but Joy has had to miss some meetings because we switched to Wednesday night and Nick has things. So
I guess if the videos had gotten posted and then maybe.
yeah, if the videos had
that
gotten
would have been
posted, I
helpful.
don't think
Yeah.
it would have been a problem. I didn't
Yeah.
realize the videos hadn't been posted
Yeah.
until this meeting just now. So I will
Okay.
definitely check on
Just
that.
had to-
So Hope, when you close this meeting, it will tell you it has to convert this meeting, and it will ask you if it wants to convert it on your computer or up in the cloud. Whatever you want to do with it, I just need to get those, so you can tell me where it is and how to get it so I can take it to Kelsey.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay? Thank you, Mary Pat, for reminding
Okay.
us we do have to do that.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, anybody
Okay,
else have
thank-
anything? Then I think Joan wants to make a motion that we adjourn at 8:57. Oh, I hear a second. Oh, who was going to say something?
I'm sorry, Karen. The Friends wanted to know, and I see it's on the agenda. Do we have anybody who's gonna be the Friends liaison?
I forgot that was on the agenda. We do not have anybody right now. Their next meeting is the 14th. Is there
Yeah,
anybody that could make
Tuesday.
it to that meeting?
No.
Let me see.
The 14th, Valentine's Day?
It's Valentine's Day.
No.
Yeah. I can probably do it.
Okay. I
You know,
completely forgot it was on there. And then next month, we'll talk about if somebody wants to do it permanently. So it's every even month, the second Tuesday of the month.
So we'll leave that for next month's agenda. I'll write down this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I completely forgot that was on the agenda.
No problem.
Every even month, the second Tuesday
Yeah.
of that month.
Okay, and I just got a text back from Elena saying
6
that she
o'clock.
will drop off her binder.
Wonderful.
Okay? Anything else? I apologize for forgetting about the Friends thing. I know it was on the agenda.
All right, so about that motion, I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor of adjourning, say aye.
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 Unanimous.
Thank you guys for coming. And I apologize again for what a mess this was tonight. I just
Okay.
don't know. I don't know why my computer did not want to Zoom. So